I refuse to pay for my mom's medical bills even though I can afford it. Does that make me a horrible daughter? So here's me, probably about to get roasted by the internet, but I need outside opinions because my brain has been spinning for weeks. I, 28F, am financially comfortable, not like private jet rich, but solidly upper middle class thanks to a tech job I landed a few years ago. My mom, 55F, and my dad, 58M, are still together, living in the same small town where I grew up, and my younger brother, 23M, is, well, let's just say he's finding himself and leave it at that. The four of us have always been a family, but not the sitcom kind where everyone gathers around a dinner table laughing. It's more complicated. I love my parents. I think they love me, but there's this undercurrent of tension that's been there since I was a teenager, mostly about money. My parents never had a lot, and they always kind of made it clear that I'd need to take care of myself financially. Which, fine. I worked part-time jobs in high school, got scholarships, hustled my way through college. Now, I make good money. I own my own place, I have savings, I'm careful with it. But here's the thing. The moment I started doing well, my role in the family shifted. Suddenly, I wasn't just the daughter, I was the financial backup then. Little requests here and there, like, can you help with this car repair? Your brother's tuition is short this month, turned into bigger asks over time. And I said yes more often than I said no, partly out of guilt, partly because I could. And then last month happened. Out of nowhere, I get a call from my mom. She's crying. She's been to the doctor. There's a health issue, not life-threatening, but serious enough to require ongoing treatment. The bill is a lot. And after insurance, she's still left with a sum that would wreck their budget. She says she hates to ask, but could I just cover it and she'll pay me back someday? That was the moment I knew this wasn't going to be a simple yes or no answer. Okay, so here's where I feel like the backstory matters. Because if you just hear, your mom is sick and you didn't help, you're already thinking, I'm a horrible daughter. But my relationship with my mom has never been straightforward. Growing up, she was there, but not in that warm, always listening, hugs and hot cocoa way. She was practical. She kept the house running, she made sure we had food, that homework got done, that we didn't set ourselves on fire in the kitchen, but she wasn't the emotional type. I can count on one hand the number of times she's told me she's proud of me. She also had these financial habits. My parents weren't broke, but they were always in some kind of low-grade money chaos. If dad got a small bonus at work, mom would immediately decide we deserved a new sofa or a weekend trip. If the car broke down, she'd put it on a credit card and figure it out later. We'll manage was her favorite phrase, but it often meant future us will deal with this mess. When I left for college, I had this mental switch. I was done relying on them, and I was determined to never be them financially. And for the most part, I've succeeded. But the thing is, my mom seems to resent that I'm careful with money. Like, she'll make little digs. Don't be such a miser, or you can't take it with you when you die. When I helped her in the past, like paying off the last chunk of my brother's community college fees, she barely said thank you. It was more like, well, of course you'd help. You're family. So every time she's asked for money, it hasn't felt like helping someone who's grateful and respectful of my boundaries. It's felt like handing over cash to someone who sees it as their due. And yeah, I know that sounds harsh, but that's the reality I've lived with. And before anyone says, but she raised you, yes, she did. She worked hard, and I'm not pretending she didn't make sacrifices. But it's not like she saved for my college or covered my early rent when I was struggling. I've been self-sufficient since I was 18. That's why when this medical bill situation came up, It wasn't just about the number on the invoice. It was about a lifetime of feeling like I'm an open wallet to her. So picture this. It's a Tuesday night. I've just gotten home from work. I'm halfway through reheating leftovers, and my phone lights up with Mom. Now, usually I let her go to voicemail when I'm tired because our calls are not quick. But something in me said, pick up. Her voice was already shaky before she even said hello. She tells me she went to the doctor because she's been having pain in her side for months. Tests, scans, blood work, the whole thing. Turns out she's got a chronic condition that's not life-threatening right now, but if untreated could lead to much worse problems. The treatment plan? Several months of specialist visits, medication, and possibly minor surgery if things don't improve. The cost after insurance? About $14,000. I'm quiet because I'm still processing that number, and then she says the words, "We don't have it. We've looked everywhere. Can you cover it for me? I'll pay you back someday." And here's the kicker. She says it like we're talking about me picking up groceries for her. There's no hesitation. No, I know this is a big ask tone. Just direct. My gut reaction is this hot flash of panic. Because, yeah, I can afford it. I have an emergency fund, savings, even some fun money. But this is not a, hey, can I borrow $200 until payday situation. This is thousands of dollars. I ask if Dad has any savings. Nope. They've just been getting by. I ask about payment plans. She says she looked into it, but the interest rates are unfair. I ask if she's applied for any financial aid through the hospital. She says that's for people who are really struggling, which makes me bite my tongue because they are really struggling. And then she says the thing that lodges in my brain like a splinter. You're doing so well, sweetheart. This wouldn't even make a dent for you.
It's true in the purely mathematical sense, but something about the way she says it, like my money should be their money if they need it, makes my stomach twist. I tell her I need time to think. She sounds surprised, maybe even a little hurt, but says okay. Then, before hanging up, she adds, "Don't overthink it, honey. Family takes care of each other." I put my phone down and stare at the wall for a good 10 minutes before I even remember my dinner is still in the microwave. The thing about my family is nothing ever stays between just two people. If I tell my mom I need to think about it, that automatically means my dad will just happen to call me the next day to check in. Sure enough, Wednesday evening, I get a call from Dad. At first, it's casual, asking about work, the weather, if I'm still dating that guy. I am, but Dad can never remember his name. Then, out of nowhere, "So, your mom told me she asked for your help with the hospital bill. You're not going to leave her hanging, right?" He says it like I've already made up my mind to abandon her on the side of the road. I tell him I'm still thinking. He lets out this sigh, the one half disappointment, half judgment. "I just don't understand what there is to think about. We've always been there for you." That one stings because, yes, they've been there emotionally sometimes, but financially? Not so much. I remind him I've already helped with things before. My brother's tuition, their car repairs, even covering their electric bill once. He brushes it off. "That was different. This is your mother's health we're talking about." The next morning, my phone buzzes. It's a group text with me, Mom, Dad, and my brother. Mom sends a picture of her latest test results with the caption, "Just waiting on my amazing daughter to save the day, heart." I almost dropped my coffee. I don't reply. An hour later, my brother texts me privately, "What the F is wrong with you? You make 6 figures and you're making Mom beg? Selfish much?" He doesn't have a job right now, and somehow that's fine with them, but me taking a week to think makes me the villain. By Friday night, I've gotten 3 more texts from Mom, each slightly more passive-aggressive than the last. 1. "Hope you're having a good day, sweetie. Don't forget to send over the money before my appointment Monday." 2. "I know you don't like spending, but this is important." 3. If I get worse, I guess I'll just have to remember you needed to think about it. It's like every family member is suddenly in a group project where the assignment is make my name feel as guilty as possible. And honestly, it's working. I can feel the knot in my stomach getting tighter every hour. But there's also this small, stubborn part of me that keeps whispering, if you give in now, this will never stop. By Saturday night, I was a mess. I couldn't focus on anything. I'd start watching Netflix and then realize I'd missed an entire episode because my brain was replaying my mom's family takes care of each other line on a loop. I kept opening my budgeting app like some kind of masochist. Looking at the numbers, I knew it was true. $14,000 wouldn't sink me. I could write the check today and still have my savings intact. But it wasn't about the numbers anymore. It was about everything behind those numbers. I sat there with a notebook making a literal pros and cons list because apparently I've turned into my own life coach. Pros: mom gets treatment without stress. Avoid massive family drama. Can afford it, so why not? Cons: sets a precedent for future big asks. History of mom being ungrateful about past help. Resentment brewing in me that won't just go away. Not actually being asked, being expected. The thing that tipped it for me was realizing that if I paid, it wouldn't come from a place of genuine generosity. It would come from fear. Fear of conflict, fear of being seen as the bad daughter. And if I gave from that place, I'd feel nothing but resentment afterward. So Sunday afternoon, I called her. I had to rehearse my opening line in the mirror like I was about to give a TED Talk on boundaries. Mom, I've thought about it a lot, and I'm not going to pay for the treatment. There was a pause. Not the quiet processing kind, the icy, did you just slap me kind. She asked why. I said I didn't feel comfortable taking on that responsibility, especially since I've helped financially before, and I don't want money to be the foundation of our relationship. Her voice cracked. I never thought you'd turn your back on me like this. I told her I wasn't turning my back, that I'd help her find financial aid options or even sit with her to go over payment plans. She said she didn't want my pity help. She wanted her daughter to step up like any decent child would. When I hung up, my hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. But underneath the guilt and adrenaline, there was this tiny, quiet relief, like I just passed some impossible test I didn't even sign up for. That relief lasted about 12 hours. Then the fallout started. Monday morning, I woke up to my phone blowing up like I'd just been outed as the villain in some reality TV reunion episode. First, a Facebook post from Mom. Sometimes you raise kids to be strong and independent and they forget who made them that way. Prayers for my health as I navigate this alone. She didn't tag me, but she didn't have to. Within an hour, 3 of my aunts had commented, sending love, and one of my cousins sent me a DM saying, is this about you? Then my brother texted me, wow, cold, I can't even look at you right now. He lives rent-free at their house, has no job, and spends most of his day playing video games, but apparently he's the moral authority now. By noon, my dad called. No hello, no small talk, just, your mother cried all night. I hope you're happy. When I tried to explain that I wasn't happy, that this was an incredibly hard decision for me, he cut me off with, hard? What's hard about helping your sick mother when you can? The guilt was like a physical weight pressing on my chest. I started to second guess everything. Was I being stubborn? Was I punishing her for old wounds instead of helping her when it mattered most? That night, I got another text from Mom. Don't bother calling. I'm too tired. It's been days, and she still won't answer my calls. My brother keeps posting passive-aggressive quotes on Instagram like, blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. Even my best friend, who usually has my back, said, I mean, I get your point, but if my mom needed me, I'd probably just pay it. And the worst part, a tiny, awful part of me wants to cave just to make it all stop. But then I think, if I give in now, what happens next time? What about when it's not 14K but 30K? Or when it's my brother asking for rent money for the fifth time? Still, every time I hear my phone buzz, there's that pit in my stomach, wondering if it's mom finally talking to me or another relative lining up to take their turn at the guilt parade. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. If you looked at my bank account without knowing anything, you'd probably think, of course she should pay. And I get it. On paper, this decision makes me look like a grade A villain. But context matters. It's not just about this 14K. It's about the pattern. My mom has a long history of poor financial decisions, and when those decisions come back to bite, someone else, usually me, is expected to clean it up. Not once has she said, "Thank you for helping me. I know you didn't have to." Instead, it's always framed as the natural order of things. And when I've tried to set boundaries in the past, even on much smaller requests, it's met with guilt trips, cold shoulders, or back-channel complaining to other relatives. It's exhausting. I've worked ridiculously hard to get where I am. I didn't inherit anything, I didn't have a financial safety net, and I'm not some genius investor. I just grinded. I took crappy internships, lived in a terrible apartment, skipped vacations, and socked away every bit I could. And now that I have stability, I want to protect it. It's not that I wouldn't help her if it were life or death. I absolutely would. But this situation isn't that. She has options. She could do a payment plan. She could apply for hospital financial assistance. She could even take out a low-interest loan. But she won't, because those options involve her dealing with the problem. And historically, she's always preferred me to be the solution. Emotionally, though, this has wrecked me. I can't shake the image of her crying and telling my dad she feels abandoned. Even when I'm working, there's this constant mental hum. Am I going to regret this forever? At the same time, a part of me feels weirdly lighter. Like, for the first time, I didn't just fold under pressure. I said no, and I stuck to it. But that lighter feeling is tangled up with so much guilt that I'm not sure if I'm strong or just selfish. And that's what's messing me up the most. I don't know which one it is. It's been 3 weeks since I told my mom no. We've spoken exactly twice, both short, strained conversations where she kept her voice flat and stuck to safe topics like the weather or a new show she's watching. No mention of the bill, no mention of me, just polite distance. I found out through my aunt, because, of course, that my mom ended up setting up a payment plan after all. The way my aunt said it, you'd think my mom had been forced into some cruel punishment. She's being so brave, poor thing. My aunt told me, like my mom had been abandoned on an iceberg. My brother still isn't talking to me. He posted a picture last week of him and mom out to dinner with the caption, "Family that matters." Subtle, right? As for my dad, well, we're in a Cold War. We don't yell, but every call feels like walking into a room where someone just slammed a door. Financially, I'm fine. My savings are untouched, my emergency fund is intact, and logically, I know I made the decision that protects my boundaries. But emotionally, I feel like I'm carrying a backpack full of bricks everywhere I go. There's this ache in my chest that makes me wonder if maybe money shouldn't matter this much. I keep asking myself, if I could go back in time, would I do it differently? And the scary thing is, I don't know. I think part of me would cave just to avoid all this fallout, and part of me would say no even louder. Right now, I'm stuck between wanting to call her and apologize just to make it stop and holding the line because I know if I break it, it's gone forever. So here I am, throwing myself to the internet jury. Am I setting a healthy boundary or am I just being cruel? Was I protecting myself or punishing my mom? I feel terrible, but a part of me wonders if I'm acting like a spoiled child. Am I overreacting?